It very soon. All right, welcome everyone, and class starts. So today is going to be an intro class to channeling. I'm just going to ask the guys to come and talk about whatever they feel like talking, and then I'll also share the channeling class, the channeling the Akashic Records class with you afterwards. So let's begin. Yes, so first of all, we say welcome. For those of you who have seen us channel, we know who you are. We appreciate your presence to sort of support the channel in your effort to share what we would like her to do. So what we want all of you to understand, that the ability to channel, it's not some difficult thing. It's not like, oh, now you have to like go into like a trance. And some people ask the channel, oh, does that mean that I'm gonna like talk to random people, like random aliens? We say no, we're not aliens. Although in some ways you would consider us as aliens because we're not in physical form. But we're not going to be walking around in some strange skin color. So really, channeling simply means that the Akashic field is a field that's recording everything, but it's not recording in the sense that oh, there's like a camera watching over you. Okay, it's not quite like this. Really, to channel simply means that you're tapping into something that's already within you, around you, top, down, left and right. It's just there. The Akashic record, it's capturing like literally every cell that's going on within your body. So you are part of the Akashic field. It's not actually somewhere out there that you got to go to and then like go find some resources over there. It's not quite like this. But of course, when we explain the Akashic field to people, we try to explain to them using an analogy. Oh, it's like going to the library, because you all know how to go to the library. So it's the easiest analogy to relate to. Yeah, it's like going to the library. You go check out a book, you look for information in the library, and then you check out the book that's relevant to the question that you're asking. That's pretty much the library system that you currently have. So it's the same concept when we talk about the Akashic field. You're looking for answer, and we say the answer is there. It's not some far removed thing. Of course, the channel, it's like she's tapped into the Akashic field pretty much any time of the day, and we are always in the Akashic field supporting people, okay, throughout the day, throughout your lifetimes, okay, not just one lifetime, but throughout your lifetimes. So she can simply, so it's like chit-chatting with the librarian. Okay, that's kind of what she's doing. So it's not so scary. Yeah, we're not some aliens walking on water. So really, she's just chit-chatting with the librarian, and we're offering her answers because we're sort of like librarian. We say, okay, this is the answer that you're looking for, and that's pretty simple. Now, people also ask, we want to clarify this a little bit. People say, well, then what's like the difference between intuition and like the actual library system that you're talking about? Like, intuition is sort of your own ability to tune in. Everybody sort of has a sense of gut feeling about someone. It's like if you're in a dark alley, right, and someone walks by, you will have sort of like a gut reaction. Ooh, I feel bad. I feel negative towards this person. But if somebody else walks by equally in the dark alley, you may or may not feel the same way. It's like your own sense, because you're always sensing energy. So you're always actually, feeling it out. Oh, is this person trustworthy? Is that person trustworthy? And let's say you are supposed to go to an event and you're not sure, then sometimes your intuition says, no, today you should just stay at home. Because who knows, there's maybe going to be a riot at the event. And your intuition says, no, don't go, because something bad is going to happen very soon. Right? So then people say, well, how do I know if I'm actually talking to the field and I'm actually getting answers from the Akashic field? And we say, at first it's going to feel very uncomfortable because you're not used to receiving answers almost directly, right? It's like when the channel asks us silly questions like, why do I have dandruff in my hair? And we say, yeah, this is why you have dandruff in your hair. We tell her directly. You're like thinking so much, you're like literally burning your scalp, which is what she's doing with her own energy. So she sees dandruff. It's like a direct answer that we can offer her, right? And she trusts the process enough to know, okay, I think I can trust what they're saying to me. And that goes same thing for everything that she asks us and everything her clients ask us. That's the same thing. We just give them a direct answer. But it's not like you have to do this. Okay, we're not here to say you have to do A, you have to do B, you have to do C. Okay, we're also not here to predict the future for you. We're not saying, hey, you know what? You're supposed to come and you're supposed to be at this spot at this time. Okay, because as a human being, you have free will, and your free will is a God-given gift, meaning you always have free choice to do what you want. Just because we give you an answer does not mean that you want to take, you have to take it. It's like we say, don't fall flat on your face, but you go fall flat on your face. Okay, it's still actually a free will. It's like a free choice. You can go fall flat on your face. We're not going to be upset or even take it personally because we're not a person. So if you make mistakes, sometimes we say, you know, mistakes are just learning opportunities, like not even a big deal. But let's say you do something that you quote unquote shouldn't do, and then you end up having a result that you don't like. We say, well, just learn from it. It's not a big deal. Your life continues to move forward. It's not like a make or break. Nothing in your life is a make or break, because everybody just ends up dying anyway. You know, you transition, you try this game one more time. So enjoy it while it lasts. Okay, so then people say, well, okay, so then how come it's not like common knowledge that everybody can enter into the Akashic field? Well, first of all, because for a long time, really for eons, some people at the top, it wants to control knowledge, right? So that everybody can sort of become a puppet that benefits a few. And in some ways, your society still runs like this. There's still a few people at the top who know information that none of you know, okay? So it still operates to this day. Because if everybody gets into this library, then all of a sudden everybody knows everything, then it's like you kind of don't need the government, right? So it would simply create chaos. And obviously, people who they're the managers of society don't really like this. And so then it's like over time you just lost that connection. You've just lost that ability. That's really it's like you've forgotten. And so nobody talks about it. So this is why the work that we're asking the channel to do is so important. Even though she, you know, kicks and screams a little bit as we ask her to do this thing, and it takes her forever. But still, it's important that every one of you have basic understanding that when you want information, the universe has a central library that allows you to tap into that information. It's like you don't have to struggle to make a decision. You say, oh, you know what? I really need to know if I need to move forward on this project or not. And I really need to know if it's a good idea to work with this person or not. All these questions that you ask on a daily basis, you can tap into this field. And now, the answers that comes back, let's say it comes back in the form of a song, it comes back in the form of a movie, it comes just in form of a mental image, maybe it comes in the form of a passage in a book. It just comes in different forms. It does not always come out sort of the way this channel does. She channels are talking in essence, right? But not everyone channels in this way. So for you, maybe you channel, actually you hear songs, and this is how you get messages. It's like one of the channel's friends, you know, she was dating this guy and the guy was not good for her. So she heard Lady Gaga's song called Bad Romance, and the channel had a massive laugh after that because it was hilarious. This friend who was tapping into Akashic field, she just heard Bad Romance. She just heard Bad Romance. She's like, oh, okay, I get the message. It means this is a no-go. So after she found out, she stopped dating this guy because they were not a match, right? But that was a very simple thing. It's like, if you have this level of answer and you can get it just like this, then you wouldn't waste time. Yeah, it's like your life becomes so efficient all the time. It's like get rid of all the bad days. So then, you know, the perfect day is just right there, right? So sometimes the field can provide you an answer that says, hey, don't go there. Just don't go there. And if you listen, that's good news. But if you don't listen, you go there and you fall flat on your face. It's like, well, it's not bad news. Now you just learn a lesson, right? But wouldn't it be so nice if you can just have answers quickly, not have to like think a week, 2 weeks, and then a month, 2 months, and 1 year, 2 years. It's like you would just be able to access into this field. It's the same people, okay, the same as going to the library, but faster, right? The library, you actually have to like drive there, get a library card, check out the books, read like 300 pages of the books, and then find out about, you know, how the US history works. Or you have to go through this long process. But the Akashic library, it's like you want an answer, it gives you like an instant book. And it's not even like a book that you have to read for like 10 hours, right? It's like, it gives you an instant answer. It's like you get the book, and the book opens to like the specific page, like, oh, page 56. And in this paragraph is where your answer is. Okay? This is how specific the Akashic field is. It's not like you got to read 10, 15 books to find one answer, like how you're currently doing, or when you do like a research paper, you go to the library. But the Akashic field is like, here is the specific book, here's the page number, here's the paragraph, just read this. That's it. Then you know exactly what your answer is, right? But, right, it always depends on your free will. You have the answer now, but whether you take it or not is up to you. Right? No one is going to be sitting, like the librarian is not going to be like, you have to read this book and follow it. We are your librarian. We're not saying this. We're not saying you have to follow this. If you don't follow it, it's fine. If you want to just learn through trial and error, which is how most people live in their lives, they just learn through trial and error, then you can still learn this way. You're just really slow. So the question is, do you want to learn the fast way, or do you want to learn the slow way, right? Once again, you ask yourself, do I want to make it so, with my life so easy? It's like some days the channel gets up in the morning and she has no idea what she's supposed to do. She just asks us, okay, I'm tired, don't want to do work. She usually has this sort of attitude when she wakes up in the morning. Tired, don't want to do work. We say, okay, it's okay to take a 20-minute nap, but you've got these 3 things you have to do. And she knows these are the 3 things she needs to be doing to move her projects forward. Right? But most people, if they get up and they don't feel like doing work, what do? They go back to bed, right? Because now they're like, oh, no, just gonna go back to bed. Because they don't feel like doing whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing, right? It's like, it's almost like, consider the Akashic field as a personal coach that you have 27 hours, 24/7 days, like all the time, just all the time. In the middle of the night, you wake up, you're feeling anxious about this new project, new person, new situation, whatever it is. You can just ask, why do I feel so anxious? What do I need to know about the situation? Then you have the answer. That's it. And sometimes the answer could be, go take a nap. Okay, sometimes the answer could just be, you need to go take a nap right now and stop freaking out, which is very often what we tell the channel, because she freaks out one way or the other about lots of different things. But other times it's like, okay, I need to make a major decision on this. Is it the right move or not? And the answer is not always yes or no, which is how people want the answers to be, yes or no. The answers will be, it will come in the form of like an analogy, right? For example, the channel had a client, and this client asked her, should I take this job or not? And us guides, we tell this lady, we said, well, think of, she has two choices, this job and this job. And we tell her, well, this job is like a nice dress that fits you perfectly, but it's not super fancy. It's like your perfect little black dress. This other job is like a pretty floral dress. It's not your perfect fit, but it looks good on the surface. So it's still her choice if she picks this dress or this dress. It's not a wrong decision, but it's a decision based on what you really want in your life. And sometimes you may end up going down a path that it just takes you the long way. It's like that client ends up taking the long way. And we told the channel, don't try to make the decision for her, just let her do it by herself. And the client still took the long way, right? But we couldn't force her to take the short way. We just could not force her. We provided the path for her, and she wanted to go the long way, so she ended up going the long way. But it's not, from our perspective, we don't say, oh, she made a mistake, she should have listened to us. We don't operate in this way. Say, okay, she wanted to go the long way, okay, just gonna take her 2 more hours to get home. That's it. Not a wrong way, it's just a longer way, which is how everybody's operating right now. Everybody's operating the long way. We say, why take the long way? It's like the universe saying, hey, get on the ride. I'm coming to pick you up. You know, like you're gonna get home in 20 minutes if you just like, you know, get a ride with me. But you insist to like, you know, get on the bike, then take the train, then take the bus, then take another bus, and then walk 10 more minutes and then go home. We say, why? Why is it that you want to take like this roundabout way of trying to go home when there's like a direct path that says, here, go over here. It's really easy. Here's a shortcut. From here to here is your house. This is the purpose of studying the Akashic field. Okay, the purpose is to make your life easier. The purpose is to give you access to knowledge that you otherwise don't have. All it is here, we're giving you a library card and there's your answer. Just go to the library. That's it, right? But it makes sense from the library perspective, right? Like in the sense that you understand the concept of library. You're like, oh yeah, of course. I mean, if I need to go check out a book, I'll go get a library card and I go check out a book. But the way we operate, it's more like the one-click Kindle buy. You don't even need to go to the library. You just click and you buy, and the book gets downloaded onto your Kindle, right? And instantly you have your book. It's like you don't even need to go through all this process to just get a book. So the purpose of the feel is to allow you to make life very simple. Okay, it's not this, it's not like some scary place that you want to go to. We want to address some of the fears that people have. Some people come on the channel, they ask, am I going to be talking to spirits? You know, first of all, the channel says, well, I don't talk to spirits. I'm really afraid of ghosts. Ghosts, what you call spirits, they're just sort of beings that haven't really moved on. I mean, unless you actively engage with them, they generally don't come bother you, okay? And you're not going to be talking to ghosts in order to access the library, the Akashic field, okay? You're just not going to have to dialogue with like a being that's going to be standing next to you. It's not like this. It's not like what you see in the movies, basically, okay? And really, what we are teaching is a very simple meditative process. We just guide you into sort of the central library system. And through this meditation process, with practice, people, okay, with practice, you'll be like, oh, this is the answer that I'm looking for. And you let the answer reveal itself to you. Okay, it's not like you go to a library and spend like 5 hours searching for the answer. In fact, the practice that we ask people to do is just maybe 10 minutes a day. You know, if you're a diligent student, you would do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. That's pretty much it. Okay, it's not this difficult process where you got to practice 3 hours a day. Okay, you're not learning how to play tennis here. You're just learning how to quiet down your mind for a little bit and go into the state where you can retrieve answer instantly. That's all you are doing. Okay, so the way we teach, we don't have a specific protocol. Like you got to read this prayer and then like chant this thing and then have candles ready. You just don't need it. Once you get so comfortable with this process, like you just find a comfortable seat, you sit down, you close your eyes, and boom, you'll have your answers. Wouldn't it make your life so much easier this way? Instead of you finding like a coach, then you have to coach with them for 10 hours. And then you're gonna have to like read these books, and you gotta like attend the seminar, you know, and another seminar and another seminar. It's like you attend 5 seminars and you're still running around in circles. This is how a lot of people operate. A lot of people operate like this. It's like they go here and they go here, they go here, they go here. It's like, why? It's the equivalent of what we just said to you. It's like you're trying to ride the bicycle, then take the train, then take the bus, and take another bus, and then walk another 10 minutes to go home. So many people operate like this on a day-to-day basis. We say, if you enjoy riding the bicycle, go right ahead. If you enjoy taking the train, go right ahead. If you enjoy taking the bus, go right ahead. Do it for fun, right? Don't do all these things in order to get home, because like we said, the universe is giving you a ride. Just come on over. Like just get in the car and you can just go home. It's a much more effective process this way, because then you don't have to like labor and think using your logical mind, because your logical mind is like analog. It's so slow. No offense, but very slow. Okay, compared to the Akashic records, very slow. Because it's like you have to process, and you're trying to analyze your data in the situation based on what you know, and what you know is always just habits, history, what your parents told you, what your teachers told you, what your society told you, and you're analyzing information based on outdated information. It's like let's say there's a concert happening next Thursday, but you're reading this like really outdated newspaper. You're trying to find like the concert location and the concert date. This is how you're currently operating. Okay, but the way Akashic field is more like the internet. You type in concert name, this month, and then boom, you know where the location of the concert is. Like, it's this fast. Like, it's more like a Google search. Okay, and this is how the Akashic records is, because it's not outside of you. We want to emphasize this point. It's not somewhere you go to in order to like get a book, right? Even though it's just an analogy that we use to help you understand. But the Akashic field, it's literally within your own system. But you need to be in a different state. It's like you need to completely open up your chakras. So it's like to receive that download. Otherwise, you're just blocking yourself. Right? But the major question that we hear from people is like, well, how do I know if I can do it? The channel always says, well, if I can do it, probably most people can do it, because she's the slowest one. One that's the slower one, we say. Because we ask her to do a channeling. Hello, every year we tell her to do channeling. She always says no. Until eventually, one of her friends told her to do the channeling, and then she said yes. Okay. So don't be so slow like her, because she struggled for a long time. It took her a long time and took her a lot of struggling, right? On every level, she struggled, whether it's money, romance, health, just community, everything. Why do you have to struggle like this all the time? There's a much faster way, right? Sometimes she's like, yeah, I guess I wish I had listened to you guys like 6 years ago. We say, yes, that would have been a great time to listen to us, but it's okay. Better late than never. So we're sort of saying the same thing to you. Like, better late than never. Like, don't wait until another 10 years pass by. You're wondering, oh, maybe I should have learned that 10 years ago. Well, you just suffered for another 10 years. Why suffer for another 10 years, we say? Like, you just don't need to take 5 buses to get to a place. It's like, find the direct route. We're sort of like your taxi service, Uber. You just like click the button and the Uber shows up. We are your Uber. We said, we're going to take you where you need to go. Just hop on the ride. But you're like, no, it's really scary. I don't know the driver. So I'm not going to get on this Uber car. This is what people are saying, literally. It's like, oh no, I don't know the driver. I just can't get on. Don't worry, I'm just going to take the 5 buses. And then I'm going to go home. We say, why do it the way that cause you pain and suffering? And it's funny, because some people are so addicted to the pain and suffering. It's like your comfort zone. You just feel like the pain and suffering is the normal way of operating. You're like, yeah, of course I'm supposed to take 5 buses to go to this place, because this is how it's supposed to be. You literally operate according to this paradigm. Many of you, not all of you, but many of you. You say pain and suffering is the way I'm supposed to go through in order to learn ABC. But we say, you don't need to go through pain and suffering to learn ABC. You can just learn ABC. It's like saying, I want to learn how to make spaghetti, but first I got to burn my finger. Then I'm going to burn down the house. And then I'm going to splash water everywhere. And then I'm going to learn how to make spaghetti. This is literally what people are saying. Of course, we're sort of making fun of you a bit, but people do this all the time. Some people literally have to burn down their house to learn. We mean this in a literal way. Okay? But we hope none of you have to burn down your house to learn your lesson. And so this is, in essence, our invitation to you. Again, everything is based on your own free will. It's sort of like the universe says, here's your taxi ride or your limo. Would you like to get on the limo? Some of you say, oh, but I don't know the limo driver, so I'm not going to get on this limo. But other people will say, oh yeah, here's a limo, great. I'm just going to hop on because that's so much easier. So again, it's sort of like these 2 options. Do you want to get on the limo and takes you home right away in 20 minutes? Or do you want to take 5 buses to go home? Because the choice is always, it's based on you yourself. It's not, no one can tell you what to do. No one can actually say, oh, you have to take this job, or you have to date this person, or you have to break up with this person, or you have to do something else. It's like, it's not like this. It's just really allowing you to find an easier way to operate. That's it. Find an easier way to operate your life. it's like sometimes you want to take these classes because you're hoping that the instructor will teach you, how to knit, let's say, right? And you take a knitting class, you can go figure out knitting yourself, but you go through a lot of like trial and error and spend a lot of time untangling the mess that you do. Okay. But if you go take a knitting class and the instructor says, oh, make sure you don't do this because otherwise you're going to form a knot over here. And you learn it. You're like, oh, okay, easy. Then you know how to knit. It's kind of like this. It's as simple as taking a knitting class. And once you get the process down, you're like, okay, no problem. I can make a scarf. It's as simple as making a scarf. So don't make this thing as something so complicated. Like, oh my God, I'm going to like chant, 5 hours a day in order to get to the Akashic. We're not asking you to do anything other than maybe just 10 minutes a day. You do have to practice, so you get used to it. That's pretty much it. It's like taking a new path to let's go going to the park. Once you get used to this new path, you just know, oh yeah, this is a new path to go to the park. So we're giving you all these imageries to sort of just ease the tension, because many of you are, it's like you're holding on to your own prison bar. And we're over here saying, why are you holding on to your own prison bar? Stop, let it go. Just stop it. It's like you see people do silly things. You're like, why are you doing this? Just stop it. Right? You see, let's say a friend who's overeating. You just want to go over there and be like, stop it, stop eating this. Right? Or they keep dating the same guy that's bad for them. You just want to go over to that person, like, stop it, stop dating this guy. And so we're sort of saying, stop holding onto your own prison bars. It's not necessary to hold on to your own prison bars. Because the tighter you hold, okay, it's like at some point you just like, okay, this is my comfort zone. I have to operate by holding on to what I'm comfortable with, which is like these two bars in front of you. Like, I gotta hold on to these bars. Otherwise I can't live. And so who's the person who's trapping you? Nobody's trapping you but you yourself. Right? This is what we want you to just learn to let go. It's like just loosen up the fingers a little bit, and eventually you can step back and be like, oh, I don't have to hold on to these. I'm not gonna die when I let go of the prison bars. And that process is very scary for people. Okay? The letting go of the prison bars is very terrifying for almost everybody, because this is what you know. And to ask you to let go, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to jump off the cliff. But that's not what we're asking you to do. Okay? Just letting go does not mean you're jumping off the cliff. So now we'll pause here and allow you to just kind of take a couple minutes to ponder what we have said. And if you have questions, you can sort of just unmute and ask questions yourself. And we will give people a couple minutes to just think about what they want to ask. Okay, let me take a break. LaFern says, that is a bucket list item of mine, cliff diving. That's so fun. Please don't jump off the cliff. At least you need to have a strap on. Debbie asked me, is it just for you? Do you get info for others? How do you know what you choose is good for others, say family members? Okay. Hold on, I'll ask. So yes, when you receive information, it's sort of like, this is Channel's job, right? She informations for other people, and then she directly gives the information to other people. And so sometimes there is a kind of discernment. Let us give it to you this way. Don't tell people things unless they ask for it. Yeah, common sense. But people don't seem to have common sense these days. You go blob it out to your family member, say, oh, I'm getting this download that you should like break up with this guy. How do you think they're gonna react to this? Probably not well. Okay, we say, well, don't go and share your unsolicited opinion. Okay, it's fine for you to get downloads because you are all sensitive beings, and sometimes the information does come to you and not to that family member directly. But it does not mean that you should then go and blob it out to that person, because they may not be ready to hear the information. That information may simply be sent to you so that you have an understanding of where your family member is. It's like it gives you an understanding of, oh, this is where they are in their life. And that's it. Okay. It is not your job to be the preacher than to go tell people how they should live their life. We say in this case, it would be sort of none of your business. And it's easier if you just say, keep it to yourself. Right. But sometimes people ask us, yeah, but what if it's like really important and it has to do with their marriage and I want to go help them and fix it? And we say it's like anything else. You can talk to that person. You can say, I have something that I would like to share with you, but you don't have to take it if you don't want to. But would it be okay? Right? You ask people for permission. If they're at the level where they feel like they can receive information, they're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you can share. Then you can kind of bridge that gap and be like, oh, this is what I'm feeling about your situation. But, you can do whatever you want. But you give people that freedom and flexibility to be themselves. Like not say, yes, you have to do this. No, you should break up with your husband. Right? That's not going to be received well. So it's sort of like, it's like the channel, right? Sometimes she wonders, I wonder how my business is going so well. I don't even tell people what I do because she doesn't go out and announce to the world, hello, I am a spiritual channel. It's not going to be received well. And that's fine because people still come to her through a variety of ways. But she does not have to go on the street and announce it to everybody. Right? Because most people are not ready to receive the information that she has to offer. And we say that's fine. But those people who are ready, they hear her. They see her, they recognize her, and they come to her naturally. She doesn't really have to go hunt anybody down or be like, you need to come and listen to what I have to say. She just sits at home, and then every day she gets these messages from people. Oh, I'm really interested to learn what you're doing. Please share what you're doing. It's a softer way of being because you don't have to go out and go preach it to everybody, like than to convince people, they have to be a certain way. Okay, so this is what we say. Okay, second question. This is Anna. I receive messages when I do tarot oracle readings. Would that be the Akashic or some other source? We say tarot card reading, oral card reading, pretty much any kind of reading. Yes, in some ways you are sort of intuiting in some future possibilities. But it's not the same as going specifically to a library and accessing a book, right? It's not the same thing. So we say it's not, we don't want to accuse you and say you're doing something wrong. It's not quite like this. It's simply, okay, you're looking at the cards, you're processing the information the card reveals to you, and through your own intuition, you're sort of interpreting the information, okay? Sometimes it's correct. It may not always be 100% correct. The Akashic field, it's like concrete. It's almost like concrete books. You pull the book down and here's the book. And on page 56, it says this. So it's a very precise information. But the information is not saying you have to do this. Okay, it's just information. That's it. But it's very precise information. When people are doing readings, they're still sort of processing through their own brain. Okay, they're still sort of interpreting. There's some thinking involved. Yeah, they're using the intuition, but there's still some thinking involved, right? But channeling, it's more like turning on the water tap and just letting the water flow. It's sort of like what the channel's doing at the moment. She's not really there. She's watching the show, but we're talking, right? There's no processing involved on her end, if that makes sense. She's not processing. She's not like thinking, oh, these are the things that they want me to say and I'm going to say it in this way. No, she's not processing. Whatever comes out of her mouth is what we are wanting her to say. Like she's not doing sort of a kind of dialogue in herself. But when you're doing card reading, there is some processing involved. You're still kind of looking at the card. You're like, maybe it goes this way. Maybe it goes this way. It's not a precise information, we say. Okay, so that's the difference between sort of tarot card reading and any kind of reading, basically. And of course, some people can interpret energy. Okay, some people are skillful at this, at interpret energy. You know, they can read auras. They say, okay, your heart chakra is blocked, this and that. And those, it's like they just see it. For some people have that ability. They just see, oh, your energy is a little bit clouded in this area. And they just tell it to you, it's like a fact, right? But they're not reading, like interpreting you, right? They're not interpreting what these pictures on these cards are saying. But when you do the readings, there's some interpreting involved. Okay, so that's the difference. We hope that makes sense. Crystal says, can you misinterpret these downloads? Oh, very good question, Crystal. Yeah, so this is where practice comes in. Yeah. So at first you go into it, you're like, oh, I see this grand palace. I'm gonna live in this grand palace. Maybe that's not actually what the Akashic worker says, but you're like, no, this is what the Akashic worker says. So yeah, sometimes you could misinterpret simply because you're not well versed in it. It's like maybe you think it's soy sauce, but it's vinegar, but they look the same. Yeah, but you're like, no, it's soy sauce. We say no, it's vinegar. Okay, and you will only know once you taste it. Yeah, but the bottle looks exactly the same because it's the same color. So yes, there's times you might misinterpret information, but actually once you get a hang of it, it's like cooking. You're like, this is soy sauce. I know this is soy sauce. You can just tell by looking at it, this is soy sauce. Okay, you're not gonna mistake it for the ginger or whatever vinegar that you're trying to get. Right? Because you understand the flow of the information that comes to you enough. You practice it. It's like you cook this dish enough to know which sauce is which sauce. You would just know. You're like, this is accurate information. I just know. It's like when the channel now is channeling, she's not doubting what's come out of her mouth. But a long time ago, when she first started channeling, she's not sure. She's like, am I just making this up? Maybe I'm just making this up. I don't know. But she practices on all of her friends, and then all of her friends give her feedback. Then they're like, oh, she's pretty accurate with what she's saying. Then she's like, oh, I can trust the information. It makes sense. Like I can trust it. So we say, actually, the way to work with the Akashic records, it's really about learning to build trust with it. Because it feels scary at first because you're like, I'm not sure. And I'm not sure. We say that's okay. It's not a big deal. Let's say the first time you go into the meditative state using the method that we teach you, you're like, oh, I don't see anything, just nothing. But that's okay. It's your first time. Maybe it's your first time going to a library and you don't know which book you're supposed to be looking for. You do it again. You say, okay, this time I'm going to the Akashic field. I have a very strong intention. I have an issue and I have conflict with this person. I would like to know how I can best resolve it. And you're crystal clear on what you're looking for. When your intention is crystal clear, people, it's like you're telling the librarian, I need this book about US history and economy 1920s during Depression. Exactly what I'm looking for. And guess what? They give you the book that's exactly this. But if you go in there, you're like, maybe. Then it's not accurate. Right? You're like, oh, it's not exactly what I'm looking for. But all you asked was, I just want to learn about history. Well, the librarian is going to give you any random history book. Oh, here's a history book. But it's like Amsterdam history from 1600s, right? It's not US economy history 1920s about depression. So part of it actually is you learning to ask questions in a kind of articulate way. You say, this is exactly what I want to know. And guess what? The librarian, okay, no problem. Here's the book. Same thing, guys, same thing. So we say, really good question. So thank you for asking us the question. If you can misinterpret downloads, really, you will practice it enough by asking the right questions, then to know this is the answer I'm looking for. Just simply through practice. That's really, it's not like some difficult thing. You just learn it, you're like, oh yeah, this is soy sauce, not vinegar. Okay, it's like this. Next question. Debbie, how do you know what questions to ask? Okay. So first, you have to get clear within yourself. What do I want in my life? Okay, we're just going to make this up for you. Let's say you want a new partner. Okay, I want a new partner. Don't know exactly what that person would look like yet. Then you start to do like your research, right? You go look. What kind of people do I enjoy spending time with? Yeah, I really enjoy this kind of person, this kind of person, this kind of person. It's like you start to create a vision, right, of finding a partner for yourself. And then you will go into the Akashic field and you say, what kind of person do I need to be a match to this person that I'm looking for? Now that's a pinpoint question. You're not asking the Akashic records, please bring me the guy. Okay. The librarian's gonna say, sorry, we only have books here, we don't have men. Okay. But if you ask the question, who do I need to be? Right, vibrationally, to be a match to this person I'm looking for. Now you're starting. Now you're going in the right direction. Does that make sense? Now you're going in the direction of what you're asking. What is it that you desire, which is a partner in this case. But same thing for money is the same thing. Okay, let's say I want to make $500,000 every year. Then the question would be, what kind of person do I need to be to receive this level of income? What kind of mental blocks I need to let go in order to receive this income? What kind of new belief system do I need to have in order to receive this income, right? Now you're asking the right question because you're like, okay, this is what I want. I'm clear that this is what I want. Now I'm going to ask these questions, right? But you can't just go to the library and be like, please bring me $500,000. Again, the librarians say, we don't have paper money. We just offer books. So this is literally what happens when people come to the channel. Be like, tell me what to do. Okay, they tell me what to do. Tell me what my life purpose is. She's like, I don't know. What do you want to do with your life? So it is your job to simply decide, I would like to have this. It's like going to IKEA. You're like, I want to have a cup. But the IKEA has a lot of stuff, people. You can't just buy everything from IKEA. Otherwise, your house is going to be full. Yeah, you say, I'm going to go to IKEA today. Need the plates, the cups, the forks, the knives. And then you go, you buy what you want. And then you get exactly what you want. It's the same thing. Otherwise, you're going to go into IKEA and everybody gets lost there because it's like a giant maze, because they have everything, right? Every time the Chana goes to IKEA, she's just lost. She has no idea where she's going. Because usually she goes to IKEA, she's not clear on what she wants. Then she gets in there and she's totally lost. Right, but if she had just did her homework, if she had done her homework, write down the list of things that she wants from IKEA, then she's not going to be lost. Because then she's like, okay, I need this, and I need this, I need this, and I need this. Same thing. This is how you ask. Okay. Thank you, Debbie. Oh, yeah, Molly, no worries. Okay. Anybody else has questions? Let me just go double check. Oh, Anna, you also said, I also just know things like my friend was pregnant without using cards. Oh yeah, I remember you told me that. Okay, so yes, again, it's one of those things that sometimes for those people who are very sensitive, it's like you can access the through intuition, information that come to you. And you're like, oh, I have a feeling this is going to happen. It's sort of like the same thing. It's like you want to call your mother and then she calls you right then and there. Right? Because energetically, you guys are attuned. You're not separate from other people. You're never separate from other people. Like, don't think that you're like this person and they live across the country and then you're like separated. Okay, you and somebody else, you guys are always connected. It's like people are simply threads of a fabric. Okay, remember this. So you are connected. It's like you're one thread. And you crosses over. Let's say that this other thread crosses over, and that's your friend. She's pregnant. You're like, oh, I know she's gonna get pregnant, right? Because your thread crosses over her thread, and so for you it's easy. And if you're sensitive enough, you can then receive information about her as well. It's like this. See, and it again, it's just a matter of you're open or not. Right? You're paying attention. You're like, oh, I know she's gonna be pregnant. How amazing. Right? Because your thread crosses over to you guys have some connection there. Actually, some people can also tell, world events. They're like, yeah, I know that this world event is going to happen because they're energetically very in tune to the world. It's like they've got like these spider webs, they're almost like octopus. Their tentacles goes all over and they have access to information about the world. Oh yeah, tsunami is going to come. But usually they don't announce it to the world. Yeah. Because no one believes them. No one's gonna say, "Oh yeah, we should listen to the psychic. The tsunami is coming." But some people know, Okay, Addie, last question. How do I know what I'm receiving is not just my own thoughts? Oh, good question. That's what I used to think all the time. Hold on. Okay, so we see, yes, this is a very good question because sometimes you feel like, okay, let us start this way. The first step that we teach in this class that we're asking the channel to do is teach you how to do a sort of a cleansing process. Because many of you are, it's like a cluttered house, okay? You are literally like a cluttered house. You clutter with your own thoughts. You clutter with old emotions. You're like still missing the guy from like 10 years ago. You know, all these things that's just cluttering in your system, and even your body, right? Your body has, let's say, excess toxins and things like this. So you're cluttered. So then if you're cluttered, it's very difficult to get clarity, right? One of the reasons why the channel can do what she does is because she sort of had gone through a long process of cleansing herself physically and mentally through hours and hours of meditation. So her pipe is very clean. And she also doesn't drink. She doesn't take, really her only vice is a lot of chocolate a day. But generally chocolate is not so bad, you know? So if your only addiction is chocolate, you're doing good. You're doing good. But many of you have lots of like little addiction to this, a little addiction to this. And we're not saying in a critical way. We're not saying you're a bad person. It's just that you're not realizing that you're addicted to so many things. Okay. So you have a tremendous amount of mental clutter, right? In order for her to do what she does, she cannot possibly be thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to make this dinner tomorrow and I'm going to like eat this. I was like, oh, on Friday, you know, I have a date with somebody, right? She's not thinking as she's allowing us to give you this information. Because if she's still thinking, it's like she's be thinking what she's going to be making for dinner tomorrow at the same time we're going to be talking. You're going to get really confusing information, right? And this is what happens to some of you at the moment, okay? Again, it takes practice. It's like you got your own clutter thought. Well, I got to make dinner tomorrow and my friends are coming over. And then the universe gives you a message. But you're like, oh no, I need to figure out what I'm going to be making dinner tomorrow. Oh yeah, I got to pick up my kids, you know, at 3 p.m. Right? So you're constantly injecting your own thoughts. So the first step, as we have asked the channel in the class, is actually teach you a meditation process, just to let go of your thoughts. And she's quite good at this. So we say this is something that she can help us do, is teach you how to learn through the meditation process to throw away your junk, people. It's like your house, too many things. Time to declutter. They start with the house because that's easier. You can see, oh, got 3 kettles. Don't need all 3 kettles, just need 1. There's some of you have like 5 hair dryers. It's like, you just don't need all the stuff. Right? Your physical things is just like a small percentage of all the clutter you have. You also have a lot of mental clutter that you need to sort of cleanse. So we say through this practice of cleansing, okay, we're not saying you have to meditate for like 50, 100 hours, 2,000 hours, and then do channeling. You don't have to do it. Just do it. It's like start the process of cleaning the house and then start to practice going to the library at the same time. And you can totally do it at the same time. So it's not really a big deal, but just start. You have to start somewhere, right? So the first week of the class that we asked the channel is just to teach you how to cleanse yourself mentally and also to cut cords. And she also has a process there that she can teach you how to cut cords with people that no longer serve you. We say it's a fun process. She makes it fun. Okay, so once you understand how to let go of some of this junk, then your pipe becomes really clean. When your pipe becomes really clean, then your messages become very accurate. Because you're like, oh, I know this is the right message. It's like you just know you can trust that message. Through the process of practicing, you're like, yep, I understand exactly what I need to do. And you just go. Once you receive the information, that you can act upon it. Yeah. Let us say this, and we say thank you to the person who asked us. But let us say this last thing before we close for today. You do have to move your butt. Okay. Some people, they sit there, they receive information. It's like some people love to go get psychic readings. Every other weekend they go get a psychic reading. Because they get a tarot reading, they get a palm reading, they get astrology reading. It's like they get a face reading. They receive the information, and actually sometimes, let's say the psychic, she's in tune and she's like, oh, you know what? You might want to be careful of this. And she tells that person. And you're like, oh, that was a really fun reading. And you do nothing about it. Life goes on, you do nothing about it. But she just told you, want to be careful of the house, lock your door. And then, oh, You don't listen to her, and guess what? You don't lock the door, and then the robber comes in. And you're like, oh, what happened? She didn't tell me that the robber is gonna come. Okay, and then you blame the psychic. But she told you to be careful with your house. She just told you to lock your house. But you didn't do it. Okay, and then you're blaming her for not telling you specifically that, you know, some thief is gonna come to your house. This is what people do. Okay, same thing. You go to an astrologer, right? And the astrologer says, oh, you know, this star aligns with the star, you might get sick. Just make sure that, you know, you really take care of your body. Again, you receive some information. Oh yeah, such a good astrologer, but you don't do anything about it. And then you're partying up all night. You're drinking lots, and you're eating all this junk food. And then before you knew it, 2 weeks have passed, and now you're really sick. And you're like, this astrologer really sucks. You know, he didn't tell me that I was going to get sick. Like, he's supposed to tell me. He did. He did tell you. He told you to be careful with your body. Some illness might occur. He didn't say specifically on this day you're going to get sick. Right? It's the same thing. When you go into the Akashic field and you get an answer, you're going to get an answer. You can get information. But if you sit on your laurels and you don't do anything, then the information is useless. Right? If you don't, it's like reading like a recipe and you don't follow through. You don't even go out to get groceries, and you're just like, nope, not interested. Too much work. You say too much work to get in my car and go grocery shopping. Then you're not going to have the dish that you're looking for. Yeah, even though the recipe is in front of you. So we say, learn how to use information, learn how to access information, then apply. Okay, with that, we will close the reading for today. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And the class is actually starting on Tuesday. Actually, I already started giving access to people who have already signed up for the channeling course, but doing the live class on Tuesday the 15th. And let me just post the link really quickly here. You can go to solera4humanity.com/channeling dash course. I think this is it. and all the information there. It's a 6 weeks long class. Not all the actual lessons are already recorded. I've already done all the videos for you guys. The meditations in there, the cord cutting exercise is also in there. And then the live classes will be on Tuesdays. And depending on what your time zone is, I'll probably do like a US friendly time zone. And then the following week will be like a European friendly time zone. So, and if you can't show up to a live class, it's not a big deal. You can just send me your questions in advance and ask me that way. So everything will be recorded, so you don't have to worry, oh, you're going to miss a class or not. Okay, so if you have any questions, just DM me. Okay, but I'm super tired, so I'm gonna get off the call now. Thank you so much for being here, and it's really my pleasure to do this work. And thank you so much. Bye, guys.